You know, I'm quite an easygoing guy. Not many things get me cross. But this homeschool mum, oh, she got me angry. So I know what you're thinking. Mr. Sensible, why are you angry about homeschooling? Well, the answer is, in principle, I'm not. Now, I'm sure that there are certain circumstances where homeschooling is sensible or possible, sometimes maybe even necessary. But if someone is going to homeschool their children, there's a few things they absolutely must be able to do. The first, and perhaps the most obvious, is to be able to dedicate enough time to the task. Secondly, you need some ability. Teaching is a skill. Not everybody can do it. Next, you need to be able to actually understand what you're teaching. It's no good just being one page ahead. You need to be able to understand so that you can properly explain the subject and answer any questions. Finally, you need to be doing it for the right reasons. Now, that might be due to the way your employment works or family needs, I don't know. But you need a genuine reason for doing it. Let's see how this lady gets on. She'll remain unnamed.
Flatlantis.
Flatlantis.
Let's have a look at that first caption again. My youngest daughter has never been to school or used any government curriculum. #safety first, #unschool. Something tells me that you're doing this for the wrong reason. What is the problem with the curriculum in schools? You'll learn languages, you'll learn sciences, you'll learn history, geography, physics, and so on. What exactly is wrong with that? What else did you say? She loves to make and try different foods, to go on adventures, arts and crafts, and being with her animal friends. Well, that's all very nice and fluffy, and I'm sure that she enjoys that. But aside from the arts crafts aspect of that, is that actually education?
What's your favorite part so far?
I was last reading on this, and it's talking about the Apollo.
As though you all only learn anything with a teacher making you do assignments. Smirking face. Well, a teacher will explain concepts. A teacher will answer questions. A teacher will try to ensure that the pupils actually understand what's taught. A teacher will set assignments so that the pupils can practice what they have been taught, and we find out if they actually have taken it on board. I'm gathering from that you don't give your daughter assignments. So how do you know she's actually learnt? How can she practice what you have taught her?
Then the Apollo 11 and how there's spotlights.
I read her books when she wanted. She saw me reading and asked me what words are, and I spend time beside her helping. That's not teaching. That's keeping her entertained.
There's spotlights.
they use the spotlights, the sun.
Are you reading it front to back, or are you just kind of flipping through?
This is just me clicking record because I thought Eric and others would like to see someone genuinely reading the books out of interest. Is this some amazing teacher? Some teacher highly qualified in yoga and anti-Semitic neo-Nazism by any chance?
I was reading it to here, but then I started to look through it.
Oh, okay. Cool, you got pretty far.
Moon landing tapes got erased.
Wait, is this is the book that you were reading me that quote from, right? That you liked about how silly it would sound if we were trying to convince people the Earth was moving?
Yes, that's Eric. Eric Dubay. You think it's silly trying to teach people that the Earth is moving. So now we know where you're coming from. Adults with degrees talk nonsense and are paid for it enough already. Well, if it wasn't for people who actually have an education, you wouldn't have things like books. You wouldn't have things like the camera you're filming with. You wouldn't have YouTube and other websites like that. Hell, you wouldn't have the internet. You wouldn't have computers. All of this requires people with an education.
I think that was the other one.
Oh, that was the 200 proof cell. Yes, we have 2 Eric Dubay books here.
That is nothing to be proud of. Your daughter will not learn anything from those books. Eric Dubay just uses memes, misunderstandings and lies. Everything Eric Dubay says can be thoroughly shown to be wrong. That man is a scammer. He's a con artist. You, by purchasing his books, are supporting a neo-Nazi. Lovely.
Coffee table books.
She can thank or hate me for it later, I guess. Well, as you're keeping her away from other children, it may be quite a number of years before she realises the idiocy that you have shown her. At that point, she will probably hate you for it. But the problem is, at that point, she's going to be years and years behind, possibly never to catch up.
Ain't nobody at this flat. Shut it down.
Shut it down.
I like this book.
Yeah. What do you think about when
I like this one.
you like 200 proofs? Cool.
If the government or NASA had said to you that the Earth is stationary, imagine that, and then imagine we're trying to convince people that no, it's not stationary, it's moving at 32 times rifle bullet speed and spinning at 1,000 miles per hour.
And that, homeschool mum, shows the idiocy of Mr. Eric Dubay. Do you have any idea why the speed of the Earth is not a problem? Because if you don't, then why are you letting her look at a book like that, as you can't discuss it properly? The book, with another flat Earth meme, says that the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. Have you thought, homeschool mum, that that is one rotation in 23 hours 56 minutes or whatever it is? Not so scary then, is it?
We would be laughed at. We would have so many people telling us you're crazy, the Earth is not moving.
You said earlier on in one of your captions that you don't want your daughter to be afraid to be different. That in itself is not a bad thing. People shouldn't be afraid to be a bit different. Unfortunately, if she goes out into the wide world spouting flat earth nonsense, she won't be thought of as a little bit different. She'll be shown to be a bloody idiot. These things are not in doubt. You can measure the speed of the Earth. We know it is a sphere. How are you going to feel for your girl when everybody, I mean everybody, is telling her what a fool she is? How are you going to feel for your girl when she doesn't have the smarts to go to university? How are you going to feel for your girl when she can't get a basic job?
We would be ridiculed for having no scientific backing for this
Convoluted.
moving Earth theory.
The Earth moving is not a theory. It is a 100% established fact. Have you been able to explain to your daughter what a theory is? I doubt it, because I bet you a pound to a penny you haven't got the faintest bloody idea yourself.
And not only that, but then people would say, oh, then how do you explain a fixed, calm atmosphere and the sun's observable movement? How do you explain that? And then imagine saying to people, no, the atmosphere is moving also, but somehow magically velcroed to the moving Earth.
So she reads that part that says the Earth is moving, but the atmosphere is somehow magically velcroed to the moving Earth. So why didn't you step in and explain why there is no problem with this? It's one of two reasons. One, you have no idea yourself, or two, you're quite happily lying to your daughter in order to satisfy your personal flat earth belief.
The reason is not simply because the Earth is stationary. So what we are actually doing is what makes sense. We are saying that the moving Earth theory is nonsense.
So the quality of the educational material you are providing to your daughter with regard to the rotation of the Earth is just, it's nonsense. You call this an education?
The stationary Earth theory makes sense and we're being ridiculed.
Yes, flat earthers are ridiculed. Eric Dubay is happy to be ridiculed because he's doing it for the dollars. Unfortunately, you're quite happy for your daughter to end up being ridiculed for no reason other than your personal stupidity.
You've got to picture it the other way around and realize how ridiculous the situation is. This theory from the government and NASA that the Earth is rotating and orbiting and wobbling is absolute nonsense, and people are clinging to it.
It is not a theory, and it's certainly not a theory put forward by the government and NASA. You do realise, homeschool mom, you do realise that NASA was only created on the 29th of July 1958. We knew that the Earth was a rotating sphere hundreds of years before that. 200 Proofs Earth is Not a Spinning Ball by Eric Dubay. Well, homeschool mom, did you know that nearly everything in that book is ripped off? It's ripped off by a guy called Samuel Burley Rowbotham, who lived from 1816 to 1884. He was a snake oil salesman and a scam artist who ran when he was challenged, who welched on bets about the flat earth. And you're taking this as an education for your daughter. Quite frankly, I am disgusted. You are disabling your daughter from having a normal life. You are indoctrinating her with memes and rubbish from a cult led pretty much by a yoga instructor who happens to be an anti-Semitic neo-Nazi. As a parent, you should want to love, cherish and give your children every possible advantage you can. You are doing the opposite. You are denying your daughter a normal life. You are preventing her from actually getting an education. Who knows how it's going to affect her later on? If you were in the UK and I knew who you were, I would be reporting you to social services for child abuse. Yes, I don't use that lightly. Child abuse. Now, it may be, if you're stupid, that it's inadvertent child abuse, but it's child abuse nonetheless. If you're convinced your daughter really is learning properly, then get hold of some school tests that are appropriate for her age. See how she compares, because I would bet you, again, a pound to a penny, that she is not likely to do very well. You have genuinely got me upset and angry. I am totally disgusted with you. It's unforgivable. And when your daughter does find out what you have done, I find it very hard to see that she's going to be able to forgive you for it. I'm afraid to say you're an absolutely shameful person who has really pissed me off.